The biggest IPO in history is almost here. Not Amazon, not Google, not even Saudi Aramco. SpaceX, ticker SPCX. Listing on NASDAQ, and at a $1.75 trillion valuation, it is bigger than every IPO that came before it, combined. But here's the thing, most people are getting wrong about this. If you think you're buying rockets, you're not paying attention. In this video, I'm going to break down what SpaceX actually is, where the real money is coming from, what's sitting on the balance sheet that almost nobody is talking about, and whether this thing is actually worth buying at this price. Let's get into it. SpaceX has three main businesses, and they are not equal. Number one is the launch business. Falcon 9, Falcon Heavy, Starship. This is what put SpaceX on the map. They've cut the cost of getting something into orbit by about 90% compared to what it used to cost. Governments, militaries, commercial satellites, they all need SpaceX now because nobody else can match the price or the cadence. Number two is Starlink. This is the internet from space business. Over 40 million subscribers, monthly recurring revenue, consumer plans, business plans, government contracts, maritime and aviation deals. This is the part of SpaceX that actually prints money like a SaaS company, and it's growing fast. Number three is everything else. Government contracts, NASA crew missions, point-to-point transportation, Starshield for the military. Important, but smaller. Here's what matters. Starlink is the business. The launches are the moat that protects it. When you buy SPCX, you are primarily buying a bet that Starlink becomes the dominant global broadband network. That's the thesis. Everything else is supporting cast. Now here's the thing that caught a lot of institutional investors off guard when the S1 dropped. SpaceX is holding over 18,000 Bitcoin on its balance sheet. At current prices, that's roughly $1.8 billion in BTC, just sitting there. This isn't a small company putting a little crypto on the books for optics. This is a deliberate treasury decision, the same playbook MicroStrategy ran, the same thing Tesla briefly did, the same thing a growing list of corporate treasuries are doing as a hedge against dollar debasement. What does this mean for you as a potential SPCX investor? Two things. One, the stock is going to have some correlation to Bitcoin price movements on top of its own fundamentals. If Bitcoin runs, SPCX gets a tailwind from the balance sheet. If Bitcoin drops, that's a headwind. You need to factor that in. Two, it tells you something about how Elon thinks about capital allocation. This is not a company that is going to sit on cash. Whatever cash SpaceX generates, it will be deployed aggressively. Some of that is good. Some of that means you're signing up for a founder-driven, high-conviction balance sheet that isn't going to look like a traditional aerospace company. Now let's talk about the number that matters most, $1.75 trillion. To put that in context, Saudi Aramco, the previous record holder, raised $35 billion at a $2 trillion valuation in 2019. And Aramco is the largest oil company in the world, with the most proven reserves on the planet, and it still trades at a massive discount to that peak today. SpaceX at $1.75 trillion is being priced on future potential, not current earnings. Starlink is growing fast, but it's not yet generating the kind of cash flow that justifies this number on traditional metrics. So what does it need to do to justify the price? Starlink would need to reach something like 100 million subscribers at a solid average revenue per user to build a business that starts to make this valuation look reasonable on a forward basis. Today they're at 40 million. That's possible, but it's not guaranteed. The risk with priced for perfection companies is simple. Everything has to go right. No major competitor emerges, no regulatory headwinds. Starship works as planned. Starlink keeps growing internationally. The BTC on the balance sheet doesn't blow up. And Elon stays focused on SpaceX while also running Tesla, XAI, and X. That's a long list of things that all have to go right at the same time. Great company, but great company and great price are two very different things. So what do you actually do with this? The bull case is real. If Starlink hits 100 million subscribers, if Starship drives launch costs down another 50%, if the military contracts expand and XAI integration creates new revenue streams, this could be one of the defining companies of the next decade. Amazon Web Services looked expensive in 2010 too. The bear case is also real. This is a capital-intensive business with massive ongoing costs. Starship development is burning billions per year. The float is small, meaning the stock could be extremely volatile in either direction. And at $1.75 trillion, you are paying for scenarios that haven't happened yet. My take, and I want to be clear this is not financial advice, is that the IPO pop is almost certainly coming. Retail demand is massive, institutional allocation is oversubscribed. The name recognition is unlike anything we've seen since Apple. So if you're asking whether SPCX goes up on day one, probably. But whether you should hold it for 3 years at this valuation is a completely different question. That depends on your conviction in the Starlink thesis, your risk tolerance, and whether you're comfortable owning a stock that could easily trade at a 30 to 40% premium to intrinsic value for a long time, or correct sharply if the growth story hits a speed bump. This is not a quiet bull core holding for me at IPO price. I'd rather watch the first 90 days, see how the lockup dynamics play out, and look for a better entry if one presents itself. Quick recap before you go. SpaceX is not a rocket company. It's a satellite internet company with a rocket moat. Starlink is the thesis. The Bitcoin on the balance sheet is real and adds volatility. At 1.75 trillion, it's priced for everything to go right. The IPO pop is likely. The 3-year return from this price is uncertain. Do your own research, size your position accordingly, and never invest more than you're prepared to see cut in half in a rough market. If you got value out of this breakdown, hit subscribe. I drop videos every Tuesday and Friday covering the stocks and narratives that actually matter. The link to the full SpaceX series is pinned in the description. This is The Quiet Bull. I'll see you in the next one.